Alright, welcome to Falcon Blues TV. Hope you're doing alright. I wouldn't say fresh off the press, but on the news that Everton have received 4 points back from the initial 10 points deduction by the Premier League for the breach of PSR, financial fair play. Announced today that 4 points will be restored as of immediate effect, pushing us into 15th in the Premier League, which is great. You know, and I know we're probably all disappointed that we haven't got 10 points back, or we haven't got more than 4 points back, but I think 4, really, I think anything above nothing is brilliant. Do you know what I mean? It's not the end of the world. You know, we've got back 4 points that we've earned. You know what I mean? These aren't 10 points. These are the 10 points and 10 points that we've had taken away from us that we didn't have. You know, we've earned those 10 points, and we've got back 4 points that we've earned. So the reason being for that is the 6 points is because of the initial breach. So I've read through most of the 65 pages of the appeal board and their whole spiel. There's a lot to take in. There's a lot of shouting about the club and things that they've done, things that they probably could have done to mitigate some of the other things that we've done. But you really need to read it, because it's a bit of an eye-opener about Everton and what's going on with this club, to be honest with you. First thoughts though, yeah, great. We need all the points we can get. I said this the other night. Anything is a bonus now. Anything above 0 is great. So to get 4 points back, it pushes into 15th. Brentford play West Ham today, so and Brentford, I think they're a point behind us, or a point ahead. We're on joint points with Brentford. They moved into 16th. We went up to 15th. We play West Ham on Saturday, so I'm almost thinking that we need West Ham to win tonight, and for us to push on now that we've got these points back. And you know, the dust has settled now. Let the dust settle and just get through the week. You know, West Ham could go on and win this. I don't fucking care what they do. Ideally, I could do with West Ham beating Brentford, just to give us, you know, just to give us some breathing room and to give us something to think about on Saturday as we go into play West Ham on Saturday. And you know, who better to give you the game? You know, get good news, and then David Moyes is up next. So do you know what I mean? Of all the managers to have a game, it's Moyes. But anyway, just looking at the whole thing now, and we're not the only ones who are going to be in trouble with this over financial fair play and PSR. It looks like, quite rightly, by the looks of things, Nottingham Forest are going to be as well, and Forest are going to be in a lot of trouble. But it's how you look at it. It's like, it's almost saying that if we've been given a 6 points deduction for the breach and that's it, nothing more, then it doesn't matter whether you're 20 million over or £1 billion over. 6 points is 6 points, and that's your breach, and that's what you're getting. Unless, you know, because Everton have not been, they've looked at it and they've gone, Everton aren't, they said that they haven't said it's a serious breach. Do you know what I mean? It's a substantial breach. And it's one of them. It's like being overdrawn by 20 quid when you got £100 overdraft or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Or £20 and you got £100 overdraft, you're in 120 quid. It's something like that. It's not massive. It's not holy crap. I mean, 20 million barely buys you the left back. 20 million barely buys you any kind of young midfielder, any kind of player these days. 20 million, you're paying that on wages. But Forest, because of how theirs worked, because they're coming from the EFL, I think they were only allowed to spend 45 million in the first 2 seasons, and then 61. I think it's definitely halved. And because of the amount of players that they signed, they literally signed like 400 players, and Jesse Lingard, that is probably going to take them pretty substantially over the threshold of their 61 million and their 40 million for the previous 2 seasons. And there's also that mitigating circumstance of Morgan Gibbs-White, where they've waited and waited and waited to actually pay this money, or get paid for them and sell them at a higher rate, which is fine. I mean, Christ, you get what you can for your players. But the fact that they're trying to say, well, we were waiting for more money, but it's like, but you had this deadline. That's like us saying, oh well, we had to sell Richarlison on the 1st of June or July, whenever it was, but we decided to sell him at the end of September in the transfer window to get more money out of him. During those 3 months period, you were racking up PSR, and your financial fair play was going through the roof because you're spending money, and you're spending money that you haven't got. So ultimately, when I look at that, when you read between the lines and things like, you're almost saying like, well, should we have just fucked everything and just, you know, thrown caution to the wind more so than we were doing, and spend all this money, let Carlo Ancelotti spend all this money if we're only going to get a 6-point deduction? Same with, like, you know, if Man City had spent £1 billion, or Chelsea who've spent £1 billion, and their PSR is just is wildly over, but they're not actually concerned about that because we've set this precedent. Are they going to be just given a 6-point deduction and that's it? So do you know what I mean? The precedent's been set, but you've got to come in with this rule now that says if a club has gone over a threshold, maybe they need to start working it on percentages, or as a, you know, a sliding scale sort of thing. You know, if they go like 50 million over, okay, it's actually 6 points and 1 point more. If you go over 100 million, it's 6 points plus 5 points more, whatever that might be. Everton's circumstance is so minuscule on the grand scheme of things that even 6 points sounds ridiculous for what we've done. But a breach is a breach is a breach. Do you know what I'm saying? So if we've breached that, fine. We've held our hands up to say this, that we're not whiter than white here. We've completely, you know, we've gone over the threshold of what should be for financial fair play and PSR and everything else. But then, you know, you have to then set that example against other clubs. Now, apparently Nottingham Forest, the verdict is next week, or the hearing is next week, which will then take us into probably April before they hear a verdict. But then Everton's second charge, and I'm going to talk about that one just in a sec. Everton's second charge comes in around the 4th of April. That's our hearing. So between now and April, we've got to pull our socks up. Everton have really got to come out and start swinging at these games and start taking points, winning more than just a point at a game. But here comes the rub, because if they're using the EFL's guidelines, which is apparently 6 points for a breach of PSR, financial fair play, whatever you want to call it, you get a 6 points deduction. Because we've used 2/3 of that already in these circumstances, how does that happen? What's the criteria for that? But there's also the double jeopardy rule, apparently, with the EFL, that says you can't be charged for the same crime twice, I suppose. I mean, that's like any court of law. But to do that, we need to then go, okay, well, if you're only going to charge us for this particular season, where our money has gone up, where we've actually made money, and we've sold players, and we haven't actually sold anyone. We've got the lowest spend in the Premier League for the last 2 seasons. Money's actually gone up for this year because we haven't sold anyone, we haven't bought anyone, and you know, the double jeopardy thing. So does that then become, okay, well, because 2 seasons out of this we've already looked at, we're now looking at this one, are they going to go 2, 4, 6, and are we just going to get 1 or 2 point deduction for this year, or is that double jeopardy rule going to come in? And is that, I think that's where our lawyers and our brief have got to be playing cute and be on it and say, like, well, hang on, you've already charged us for this, you've already charged us for this season, and that you need to be on the ball, and they need to be aware of what's going on. They need to be absolutely on top of this and making sure that there's no additional deductions, but it's all on Everton. Do you know what I mean? That opportunity is there for us to go and push on, go and do what we need to do and explain this and get this all done, because they only allowed 2 out of the 9 circumstances that we used as they allowed them. You know, we gave our reasons why, and there was 9 reasons, and they've allowed 2, and that's where the 4 points have been brought back. So the question is, we're not going to probably be able to use them other 7 because it's bollocks, it's gone. You know, the Sigurdsson thing, the USM stuff with Usmanov because of the war in Ukraine, You know, there's other little things that, okay, we spent this, we spent that, the whole Michael Keane thing with player X and player Y and whatever. That's all got to go now. We can't use that. This season it's got to be, well, why? And I think ultimately it's going to be wages. And again, the build on the stadium, which now apparently is becoming close to £800 million on the new stadium. So 800 million when it was originally forecast at around 500 or 600 million. So Denise Barrett-Baxendale's got a lot to answer for. But, you know, those circumstances, you know, is that material cost? Is that the war in Ukraine? Is that energy costs? Is that this, that and the other? It's all racking up. So we just need to be whiter than white on this, and just making sure that Everton have got everything they need to say, right, that's the reason why you're not giving us the deduction. And then, you know, do we get seen and get hit with a fine? I don't know. It's just wait and see, I think. But now the important work starts on the pitch. This is it now. We've now got a clear run between now and the end of March to get results, to get points on the board, because I think even if we're not looking at a points deduction, we should treat it as if we're going to get another one and there's going to be another 6 point hit. So we need to be clear of Southampton, we need to be clear of Brentford, probably even, I don't know, maybe Bournemouth as well. There's 3 teams above us there in 15th above, right up to Chelsea, that we can catch. And it's in Everton's hands. You know, games against Burnley are coming up just before that announcement on the 4th of April. So it's on Everton. It's on Everton to really do it. And I think, you know, I think this has given a proper weight off people's minds, because this has just been everyone's thoughts for the last month. You know, the whole of February has just been, when is it going to get announced? When are we going to find out? Are we getting points back? I'm hearing this, I'm hearing that. And you're hearing that much stuff that your head's spinning. And it's no doubt, and there's no real, because there's no real news and there's no real answers. People's heads are just falling off everywhere, and I think now is the time for us to just get a little bit more level-headed and just take a breath and go, okay, we've got 4 points back, that's it, shut up, get on with it, nothing we can do about it, we're not getting any more back, unless we go higher, which is doubtful. But now it's take the points, nod, smile politely, shut the fuck up, get on with the football. Have the football doing the talk, and not briefs, and not Colin Chong, and not Usman, not like fucking what's his face, Silk and stuff like that. It's down to Everton. It's down to the players. The players now should be thinking, right, okay, I've got points back here. I'm happy. You can see it. You can see the players whose heads are battered with this. You can see whose head is turned by going, I'm worrying about these relegation points and these teams catching up to us and stuff like that. That's on Everton. That's on us. That's on the team. That's on the fans to get behind them on Saturday, as we do. But the team's got to start putting this in now. They've been given the reprieve. Let's go and do it. Let me know what you're thinking in the comments as well. Are you happy with the points? I'm sure some of you are going to say, no, I want it to be all 10. It's loads of bollocks. Some will probably go, okay, what are you going to do? Like I am. It's like, well, what else are we going to do? But thank you for subscribing to the channel. Make sure you are. If you haven't, click the links below. Speeches on Saturday after the West Ham game. What the fucking toffees? Colin Chong, 4 points, bitches.